You know, there's something special about you. I don't say that lightly. You've always felt it, haven't you? That subtle sense that you're different, that you don't quite fit into the mold society tries to press you into. Maybe you've been misunderstood, overlooked, or even targeted. And I'm not talking about the usual challenges of life. We all face those. I'm talking about something deeper, something spiritual, something cosmic. You've been chosen. Now, let's be clear here. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else, but it does mean you have a unique purpose, a calling, a light that's meant to shine in ways that others can't even comprehend. But here's the catch. When you're chosen, when you carry that light, it's almost like you become a target. You've probably noticed it, right? It's like the more you try to live your truth, the more obstacles you face. People misunderstand you, betray you, or try to bring you down. It's as if the moment you step into your power, forces you can't see try to knock you off course. But here's the thing that those forces don't understand. Targeting you was their worst decision ever. Why? Because when you're chosen, every attack, every setback, every betrayal doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. It's like trying to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it. The more they try to extinguish your light, the brighter you burn.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let me ask you, have you ever wondered why you seem to face more challenges than others? Why, just when you think you're making progress, something tries to pull you back? It's because your journey is different. The world needs what you have to offer, and there are forces, whether they're people, situations, or even your own doubts that want to keep you from stepping into your full power. But here's the secret they don't know. Every time they target you, every time they try to tear you down, they're actually pushing you closer to your destiny. They're sharpening you, refining you, making you stronger than you ever thought possible. Think about it. How many times have you faced something that should have broken you, but instead you came out stronger, wiser, more determined? That's the thing about being chosen. You're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive. And the very forces that try to stop you are actually helping you fulfill your purpose, even if they don't realize it. But let's go deeper. What is it about you that makes you such a target? It's your light. You see, most people live their lives in a kind of spiritual sleep. They go through the motions, they follow the rules, they fit in. But you've always known there's more. You've always felt the pull towards something greater, something higher. And that makes you a threat to the status quo, to the forces that want to keep things as they are. Let me ask you again, do you feel like you're meant for something bigger? Have you ever felt that inner knowing, that sense that you have a purpose that goes beyond what you can see right now? That's the call of the chosen. It's not always easy to hear, especially when the noise of the world is so loud. But it's there, deep within you, waiting for you to recognize it. And here's the thing, the more you step into that purpose, the more resistance you're going to face. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a sign that you're on the right path. You see, the people and forces that target you, they don't understand that by trying to break you, they're actually setting you free. Every time they try to knock you down, you rise higher. Every time they try to silence you, your voice becomes louder. They don't realize that you were built for this, that every challenge, every obstacle is just preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. But let me ask you something else. How do you respond when you're targeted? Do you shrink back or do you rise up? Because that's the key. Being chosen doesn't mean you won't face hardship. It means that hardship is part of your training. It's part of what shapes you into the person you're meant to become. It's what gives you the strength, the wisdom, the resilience to fulfill your mission. And the more you recognize that, the less power those forces will have over you. You know what's funny? The very people or forces that target you think they're weakening you. They think that by throwing obstacles in your path, they can stop you from reaching your potential. But they don't understand how spiritual growth works. For the chosen ones, every setback is like fuel. It's like the universe is giving you exactly what you need to become even stronger, even wiser, even more unstoppable. Think about it. How many times have you faced something that seemed impossible, something that felt like it was going to break you, but instead it revealed a strength within you that you didn't even know you had? That's resilience, and that's the gift that comes with being chosen. You're not just given a purpose, you're given the strength to fulfill it, and that strength comes from the challenges you face along the way. Let me ask you, when was the last time you faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable? And how did you respond? You see, the way you handle those moments is everything. Most people, when they're faced with hardship, they crumble. They give up. They let the weight of the world crush them. But not you. You've always had that spark within you, that fire that refuses to be extinguished. And every time someone or something tries to put out that fire, it only grows stronger. But here's the thing, you have to recognize that power within yourself. You have to understand that every challenge is preparing you for something greater. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And the moment you start to see your challenges in that light, everything changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, and you start seeing yourself as a warrior, as someone who was born to overcome, to rise, to thrive. Let me ask you another question. What would happen if you started to see every challenge as a gift? Because that's the mindset of the chosen. The chosen ones don't just react to life they created. They don't just survive hardship, they transform it into something powerful, something beautiful, something that propels them forward. And that's why targeting you was their worst decision ever. Because every time they try to bring you down, they're actually building you up. Every time they try to silence you, they're giving you more to say. Every time they try to weaken you, they're making you stronger. But let's be real for a moment. It's not always easy to see it that way, is it? When you're in the thick of it, when you're facing betrayal or hardship or doubt, it's hard to remember that you're being prepared for something greater. It's easy to get caught up in the pain, in the frustration, in the feeling that maybe it's all too much. But that's exactly when you need to remember who you are. So who are you? You're chosen. You're here for a reason. And the very fact that you're being targeted, that you're facing resistance, is proof that you're on the right path. Because no one tries to stop someone who isn't a threat. No one tries to tear down a building that isn't being built. The fact that you're facing resistance means that you're building something powerful, something meaningful, something that the forces of mediocrity and darkness don't want to see come to light. Let's talk about something that most people don't understand, the power of rising from the ashes. You see, when you're chosen, you're like a phoenix. You might get knocked down, you might face setbacks, but no matter how many times you fall, you rise again. And every time you rise, you're stronger, more powerful, more aligned with your true purpose. It's almost like the universe is testing you, isn't it? Testing your resilience, your strength, your faith in yourself. But here's the thing. The universe doesn't test you to break you, it tests you to reveal you. To reveal the power that's always been inside of you. The power that only comes to the surface when you're pushed to your limits. Let me ask you, how many times have you been knocked down, only to rise again stronger than before? That's your superpower. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because the truth is, most people crumble under pressure. Most people let their setbacks define them, but not you. You rise. And that's why targeting you was their worst decision ever. They thought they could break you, but all they did was unleash a power that they couldn't control. But let's go deeper. Why is it that you're able to rise when others fall? It's because you're connected to something greater than yourself. You're not just relying on your own strength, you're tapping into a higher power, a divine source of energy that fuels you, that guides you, that lifts you up when you're down. And that connection is what makes you unstoppable. But let me ask you, are you fully tapping into that power? Because the truth is, we're all connected to that divine source, but not everyone knows how to access it. Not everyone knows how to draw on it when they need it most. But you've always felt it, haven't you? That sense that there's something greater watching over you, guiding you, protecting you. And the more you tap into that connection, the more unstoppable you become. You see, the forces that target you, they don't understand that you're not just relying on your own strength. They don't realize that you have an entire spiritual army behind you, supporting you, lifting you up. And that's why they can't win. Because they're not just fighting you, they're fighting the divine force that's working through you. But here's the thing, you have to trust that connection. You have to trust that, no matter how hard things get, you're never alone. You're always being guided, always being supported, always being prepared for something greater. Let's bring it all together. Why is targeting you their worst decision ever? It's because everything you've been through, every challenge, every hardship, every betrayal is leading you to your ultimate purpose. You see, there's a divine plan at work in your life. And while it might not always make sense in the moment, every piece of the puzzle is coming together to create something beautiful, something powerful, something that only you can bring into the world. Let me ask you, do you believe in that plan? Do you trust that everything you've been through is leading you to something greater? Because that's the key. The moment you start to trust the process, the moment you start to see your challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles, everything changes. You stop resisting and you start flowing. You stop fighting against your circumstances and you start using them to propel you forward. And that's why targeting you was their worst decision ever, because they didn't realize that every time they tried to stop you, they were actually helping you. Every time they tried to bring you down, they were pushing you closer to your destiny. And now you're unstoppable. But let me ask you one final question. What are you going to do with that power? Because now that you know the truth, now that you understand that every challenge is a gift, that every setback is preparing you for something greater, you have a choice. You can continue to let life happen to you, or you can start creating your own destiny. You can step fully into your power, into your purpose, and become the person you were always meant to be. So, what's it going to be? Are you ready to rise? The world is waiting. The time is now.